Amazon is understood to be poised to secure the rights deal for the proposed World League concept, which has caused such a global storm of controversy. The giant technology company is seeking to build a sports broadcasting portfolio, and sources have indicated that in association with IMG it is prepared to invest heavily in the vision of an annual, global test event, built around the Six Nations and Rugby Championship. However, there is some way to go before agreements are reached. Such has been the scale of the backlash following reports of a ring-fenced 12-nation event, with the Pacific Island sides and others locked out. World Rugby chairman Bill Beaumont revealed on Sunday that he is convening a meeting in Dublin later this month, to be attended by chairmen and chief executives from all Tier 1 countries as well as Fiji and Japan, plus player representatives. The aim is to broker a consensus, to cut through all the self-interest and division. Beaumont spoke about stakeholders with differing views. Only by working together can we achieve something truly impactful in this important area for rugby's future global growth. The impression earlier in the week was that true growth was the last thing on the minds of the game's top officials, as it was reported that they wished to create an elite tournament without promotion or relegation. While Japan and the USA were earmarked for inclusion, there was justifiable uproar about the lack of places or early access opportunities for Fiji, Samoa, Tonga, and Georgia. At least Beaumont's intervention suggests Fiji are regarded as part of the vision. Quite right, too. They are ranked 9th in the world, 4 places above the USA, who lost at home to Uruguay on Saturday. Heritage and talent should be considered ahead of commercial factors. The likes of Fiji would attract neutral viewers, that is how they would pay their way. Rugby's much-trumpeted core values would be shot to pieces if they form a cozy cartel of the wealthy and pull up the drawbridge. Samoa, Tonga, Georgia, and various emerging nations around the world must have the chance to break in on merit. Certain countries in the Six Nations are thought to be opposed to this. Such an anti-expansion defense of the status quo must be exposed, condemned, and overcome. This sort of small-minded, selfish mentality will prevent rugby from realizing its potential. Wales beating England prompted an outpouring of national euphoria, but for those with an eye on the overall well-being of Welsh rugby, the comedown was swift. Below the surface, all is not well. An overhaul of the regional structure is looming, and the Ospreys are fighting for their lives. This seems perverse. Over the years, the Swansea-based region have exceeded their domestic rivals in terms of winning titles and producing players for the national cause. The creation of a northern region building on the strong foundations laid by the upwardly mobile RGC 1404 operation at Colwyn Bay makes sense, to establish a greater geographical spread. But any move to kill off the Ospreys would be wrong. Based on a harsh but logical audit of results and prospects, the Dragons should be in greater danger of being cut. Fair play to Paul Gustard. It looks like he made a shrewd move after all. When England's ex-defence coach left the national side set up last summer to join Harlequins as head coach, many observers cast doubt on the wisdom of his decision. But Saturday's dramatic, last-gasp victory at Bath bolstered Quinton's charge for the Premiership playoffs and reinforced the sense that Gustard has fostered a strong spirit and identity within the squad, which had lacked it before he arrived. Italy will lose at Twickenham. The result is in no doubt at all. England want the visitors to turn up determined to take them on rather than try to negate their superiority with spoiling tactics, as they did with their reckless ploy in 2017. But what incentive is there for the Italians to do so? Conor O'Shea is without a Six Nations win in his 3 years in charge, and the 8 Surrey are on a 20-match losing streak in the tournament. They are not justifying their inclusion and cannot enjoy protected status forever. This newspaper revealed last week that England's first day of training against Georgia in Oxford had led to brawling. The response ranged from outrage that such conduct had occurred in front of watching school pupils, to outrage it was even reported. This column would argue that any moral indignation is misplaced. Georgia brought edge and aggression to proceedings. Good. It was just what England needed after their setback in Cardiff and the low-key approach to a home encounter with Italy. Far from choosing not to work with the Lellos again, Eddie Jones is bound to welcome them back with open arms. It is a confrontational sport. Fighting in matches can rightly lead to red cards and suspensions, but training UPS are a familiar aspect of the game. Just maybe don't invite children to watch it live. The Six Nations has served to muddy the waters ahead of the World Cup. Not so long ago, Ireland were being touted as favourites to seize the Webb Ellis Cup, but they are having a poor campaign. Joe Schmidt's Midas reputation has been dented. England were magnificent in Dublin but not streetwise enough in Cardiff. Wales were criticised for their first 2 performances, before earning eulogies for ambushing their neighbours. Injury-hit Scotland have been dire, France have been erratic, and Italy hopeless. Again. It has not been the classic championship widely anticipated. It has been enthralling in large part, but not of the highest caliber.